on here.
That it's now streaming live on Facebook.
Okay, so we are connected. Welcome everyone to a Facebook Live and our Seeds Storyteller series with my dear sister Lydia Dean, coming to us from Provence, France. So cool. Technology just blows my mind sometimes. I'm coming to you from Denver, and we're really excited to have an opportunity as longtime friends to be able to share some of the things that we have talked about over the years, that we're going to touch on philanthropy, on purpose, on community, and following the crumbs and the gems along the road for this treasure hunt that is life. So Lydia, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for having me.
It's so good.
Real pleasure. Yeah.
I feel like you're in my office with me. So this Seed Storyteller series is bringing together, our goal is conversations to inspire and ignite with people, dear friends of ours that are up to amazing things. Some are creatives, some are philanthropists, some are nonprofit leaders and founders, some are business people. And so for this conversation, Lydia is like all of those. and our goal in this is to cheerlead people I love. And always the goal is that you who are listening are, yes, celebrating and cheering her on also, because I love that. But it's also about those of you who are listening to find your story, to find what is inspiring and making your heart beat fast or bringing tears to your eyes as you hear our conversation. So throughout this live, I ask that if you hear something that inspires you, that excites you, comment like in the moment, hit those hearts and the thumbs up so that we see what parts of the conversation are really, really exciting for you guys. And it also makes Facebook, Facebook will help us share this video more, the more thumbs up and hearts and comments we get. So this is a dynamic conversation, and please join. So Lydia, tell us a little bit. So first of all, what time is it in your world?
5-ish around the last time I checked. A little bit after. So
yes. And tell us a little bit, we're gonna get into much more of your story in a minute, but you live in Provence now, yeah? Tell us about give us a little everyday snippet of what's happening in the season and outside your door or in your family, anything in your world, right?
This time of year is a really beautiful time of year in Provence because it's harvest time. So we harvest the grapes at the end of September, beginning of October, and you can literally feel like the buzz of energy in the air. When that happens, you've got just, people picking grapes by hand. You've got farmers doing it, with big machines. It's in the air and you can smell it. You can smell the grapes, and then we move right into the olive season. So it's harvest, and that's a great time of year because people work very, very hard day in and day out to tend to these beautiful plants. And so it's nice that even in today's world of all of our technology and all that, that's not diminished. That is still very much a part of the culture here in Provence, is what the earth brings and the excitement around that. So that's in the air over here for sure.
Awesome. Well, someday I hope to be with you and doing some fun work together in Provence. So I wanted to kick off our conversation. Lydia, among many things that I respect and love about her and her work and just creative visionary brilliance, has written this book, which is one of my favorites, called Jumping the Picket Fence: One Woman's Search for Meaning from the Suburbs to the Slums. And I wanted to read just a bit of the foreword because I I think it sets the tone and the stage for our conversation. So Lydia says, I believe we are all on a journey of exploration, one that will take us each on amazingly beautiful and varied paths. Mine required that I set the normal American life by the roadside to see, smell, and touch the world. Then, having done so, I realized that I had work to do. These pages represent a quest, a search for a connection to humanity and a purpose within it. They also represent at times a daunting search within myself, one that I wasn't always ready to face. And then scooching down to the end. In sum, it is my hope that these pages and this conversation, I would add in brackets, inspire you to follow your dreams, your life signs, no matter how scared and unsure you might be. And I hope along the way you take whatever opportunities you are given to encourage and help others to follow theirs. This story is an example of trusting. Of trusting what makes us tick inside, of listening to the things that tug and pull at our hearts, of keeping alive the visions that flash through our minds as we drift off to sleep. Because these are life's gifts to us, and they make each one of us unique. I now believe we can find our purposes when we let these visions lead the way. So ticking inside and tugging at your heart. Such wise and awesome words that I love. So Lydia, will you share just, we're going to dive in a sec to the work of GoPhilanthropic and GoPhilanthropic Travel, and we're going to be celebrating the $3,090 that our community came together to share with some of our dear friends, partners, sisters in Guatemala and Kenya. But what is it that, can you share with us what made you, the ticking inside bits in your heart, in your passions that led you to begin the work of GoPhilanthropic and GoPhilanthropic Travel? Can you connect those dots for us?
Oh, well, gosh, when I think back to those deep feelings that were actually, it was a combination of, now that I think about it, light and dark. Like I always felt this drive, this need to do something, to get out there and do something, and to be a part of the work that is to be done out there in the world. I just always felt that need, but I had just no clue how to get there.
Yeah.
So I liken it to light and dark because the light was that it was out there. There was something out there to do. This sense of there's this search for this purpose, but the dark was a cluelessness to how to reach it. And it was really, really frustrating. So, the first half of my life, until I was, in my mid-30s, I think I just had this pit in my stomach that I hadn't found my way. And so it just began, one step after the other. I hopped on a plane and took a volunteer trip, and it all kind of went wrong and didn't turn out the way that I imagined it. And I came home thinking, well, why don't I make it the way that I think it should have been? And so that was like the first, kind of crumb that was chucked at me, like, okay. And then it was just following that crumb path. But that not knowing how to get there, like, where do I start? I see that in so many people who are drawn to the work at GoFill, who come to us and just say, I want to do something, I just don't know what. And they feel like the question is silly, but actually to reach that stage is a really beautiful place to be. And normally life puts something in your path, I believe, at that point when we ask for it, and it's a readiness. And so I was very, very lost for a long time. And that's why I wanted to share that in the book, because I think that so many of us feel that kind of darkness of not knowing how to get where we want to go. And knowing that place that we want to go to is one of making a difference and having a purpose. So Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that really strikes me, Lydia, in what you said is that, like the difference in having those inner kind of quandaries tinged with angst, with
Yep.
more questions than answers, more fog than clarity, like all the things that I just believe are so common to our human experience as people, that and I'm so intrigued, and it just gives me goosebumps because I just see it over and over. It's like that pain in your life was this seed that dropped into your life, and now what's growing out of that is you, through the work of Go Philanthropic and Go Philanthropic Travel, you are providing a community and a place for people to come with those questions of like, who am I? I love doing this, or I'm so drawn to this part of the world, and you help them. Instead of sitting alone by themselves, people get to ask those questions and have a conversation with people that are like, I'm not saying you have the answers, but you are a community, right, that supports the questions and is looking to connect people. And
we're facilitators in connection. And
yes,
back to that sort of lost kind of spot, I think when we look at the world's problems, and what's happening out there, we so often think, how could I ever make a difference? Just me. So not only do we not know where to start, but then the double whammy is that if we did, we have this thing in our brain that says, well, even if I did, do something, whatever that is, how could I ever really truly make a difference? And what we've seen in the building of GoFill is that many of the small programs that we work with and support and partner with started with one person who was a victim themselves.
Yes.
And they oftentimes didn't have any education. They certainly didn't have any resources, financial resources. Yet somehow they had the passion and the drive to build what are now small organizations making very, very big strides in some difficult conditions. So, lest we ever doubt what we can do, what one person can do. So our focus is really on helping them do more of what they already do. So, I never wanted anybody else to feel that same level of sort of, I don't know where to go, what step to take, and if I did, it would be insignificant anyway. GoFill was built on the principle that all of those things are possible. So, we've hoped to create a platform to first create that connection so that you can feel you're together with humanity. And once you do, you feel your place. And once you feel your place, the action actually is a no-brainer. It just appears, it comes out, you find them step forward. But can be a bit of a lonely road, and we hope that there are a lot of lessons in that road, I think, for each one of us individually. So, that's important too. But we'd like to make that road just a little bit easier so that people can plug into that goodness quicker, and don't have to spend 35 years spinning in a circle wondering where to go.
Yeah, and spinning alone.
That's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame. It's just not necessary.
Big difference. I mean, I have been spinning many a time in that gap that you painted so beautifully. And I can look to moments in my life where I was literally spinning in isolation, just totally cut off from people. And then the difference in like having those questions in that spin with people around me that help me to find my way or remind me of what is true about me or the world. Like what you just like, remind me that one person, especially one person in the context of community, can make an incredible impact. It's just like dropping those seeds that are so true in the spin in community is different. And I see you do that all the time. And you have done that for me. And I'm super duper grateful for it. And I think humanity now needs it more than ever.
It does. So, it does.
Actually, can we, Lydia, I did want to, in our conversation, first of all, as I said, celebrate. Lydia and I each have candles burning in celebration of community and of what our collective Seeds of Exchange and GoPhilanthropic communities did in September and October, raising $3,090 for two dear programs and friends of Lydia's. So could we use this moment to connect? Will you paint a picture and share with us about the community in Guatemala? Because that is an example of one person that had a dream that you guys, so can you tell us about our sister and the work there? And again, thank you everyone who was part of that fundraising endeavor that we did together. Could you tell us about the Guatemala Asade?
Sure. Well, we work with a lot of communities that are dealing with people who are marginalized for various reasons, but ethnic minority communities. And in Guatemala, it's very, very unfortunate that more than half their population, which is Mayan, are underprivileged, undereducated, cut off from basic human rights. So we won't spend the time to go in why, but it's common around the world, and it's a very sad story. However, there are bright gems in that story too. And there was a woman, Maria Elena, who was a nurse, and her brother was a doctor in a hospital. And during the Guatemalan Civil War, he would make sure that he provided healthcare services and medical care to poor Mayan villages. And during the war, people who helped the poor, and particularly Mayans, were killed, and he was killed. And so to honor her brother, she started a clinic. And it's a very, very small clinic, and they serve communities in pretty desperate situations on a shoestring. And it's unbelievable what they're able to accomplish given the resources that they have. Shortage of clean water in their clinic, but very passionate, very committed. And so yeah, the funds are going to very good use. And we see their work on a daily basis. We're very connected to them. We visit them often, but definitely a story of one woman who wanted to make something right. So yeah.
And one woman who, I mean, I'm so, again, who the pain of losing her brother and taking that pain and as you said, choosing to honor him with this incredible, compassionate, very essential offering to her community. And so the nudge for me is just to all of us, like, not to diminish the pain or pretend the pain isn't there, but to pay attention to the places of loss and places of hurt, and with community to look at, like, what might we do together that's nestled right next to the places that have pained us, to really bring honor and hope and healing.
And healing is what they do, and the medicine that they might be provided is often given in terms of Western medicine, and they're not, their traditions, the Mayan traditions, are not honored and offered in medicine, in medical services that are rarely offered to them. So they've found a way to integrate in a holistic way a healing method that honors their ancient methods of healing. So it's very unique, and sometimes it takes a good bit of time to identify these small programs because they're not visible to the normal broad world. So once we do, we love to help provide a voice for what they do, and in working with you and other people who care about what is happening quietly out there, they're able to reach more people.
I remember one time we were talking, I think it was last year, Lydia, where you talked about the work of GoFill being this, like, scanning of the globe for the angels that were working quietly and that you were just looking to, they're already doing the work. So it's not like going in and So I literally, every so often when I think about you, I picture this like light and scanning the world of you and the whole amazing community of GoFill, just like walking around with your eyes wide open and finding people that are so just extraordinary. So the
Worthy of being heard, for sure.
Yeah.
Seen
Yeah.
and supported. Yes.
Yes. So let's talk about the Kenya project and community, not the project, the people. So why a bus? Why is a bus necessary?
Well,
and share.
We'll go back a step. In Maasai culture, I think it's pretty well known at this point that girls are oftentimes married off very early, around 8 or 9 years old, sometimes 12 if they're lucky, sometimes as young as 5 or 6. So it's a very, very real issue, early marriage in many parts of the world, actually, alongside female genital mutilation. So it's both of those are very present in Maasai culture. And the school and the woman that we work with, she rescues girls from early marriage and she puts them in school. So with so many of these major global issues, education is the solution. So the program is all rooted in education for girls and early on, and it is a boarding school. So the girls can be physically removed from that risk. And the bus is multifunctional, or it will be. We're still in the process of that coming to life, but it will happen, especially with the funds that you have contributed. So the bus will help to take, the school has girls up to 8th grade, and the girls who are older need to go to high school, and we need a safe way to get them to high school. So the bus will provide that transportation. But also the programs that we work with are always looking for other ways to produce income. So they're going to use the school as sort of a community meeting point to have other activities. So the bus can be used for transportation. We're talking rural Maasai land, so it's not like, there's another bus or a train coming through to get people there. So transportation is very, very valuable. And the school will be able to generate extra income for its running costs by using the bus. So transportation is just, it's key across the board.
When was the last time you were there?
Well, Kenya's not a super example of our typical ability to reach a program.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
We've partnered with about 45 programs in seven countries, and we make it a habit, it's part of our model, to be very closely connected to them so that we can listen and learn about what it is that they need, and have that genuine partnership that needs to be there, especially in the philanthropic world. If you don't have that, there's no way you can know how it is that you can support their efforts. So in Kenya, it's been a bit challenging because there has been quite a bit of political unrest there. And we have not been able to get there often. And we, of course, can't bring donors there to see and connect and engage in person. So we were there back in 2012. It's been a long run, and we're just waiting for that window to be able to safely guide our staff and others and others there. So it's unfortunate too, because girls who attend the school are at risk, and there have been some very difficult situations with girls not returning after break, after the unrest around the election. So it's very real. What happens out there is raw, and it's real. And so that, for all the other programs, we are very, very motivated, and always have been, around getting to see these programs often. And that's why GoFill Travel is such a key piece of what we do. GoFill Travel works in collaboration with GoFill Foundation, and we offer trips throughout the year so that anybody, any global citizen, it doesn't need to be somebody who's affiliated with GoFill, it certainly doesn't need to be a donor, can come and listen and really hear the stories one-on-one and understand why the world has the problems it has, and also learn about what solutions are being applied in these very rural villages. So it's very, very inspiring, because we see that they have the answers to their own solutions. They really, really do. And if we can just put a little more gas in the car, they can take it farther. So no time. Yeah.
And I do have the link in the video description for Go Philanthropic Travel. But Lydia, just off the top of your mind, I know you have a bunch. What are the places and communities that you'll be visiting in the next, 6-9 months?
Okay, well, we go once a year to almost all of our regions except Kenya. So we're in Guatemala. We have a spring trip in summer trip, in Guatemala, probably a secondary one in the summer. In the fall, we'll have Southeast Asia. So we do Vietnam and Cambodia with extensions to Laos. Spring, we have a trip to India running back to back with our trip to Nepal. So we've got some people who are doing India and then moving on to Nepal.
Is that a women's trip, Lydia? The India one?
Not.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's open.
For both.
Yeah.
Men and women.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and we do a lot of our work involves connecting with programs working on human rights issues. So programs devoted to gender equality. We do a lot with human trafficking and prevention of human trafficking in Southeast Asia and in Nepal. So some very important and what would feel like they are very heavy topics, but when you get out there and you see the amazing and courageous work that people are doing, you feel nothing other than motivated to join forces and at least share their stories and help in their campaigns to provide this important access to education, health, and human rights to people who do it most.
And that's something that we have talked about over the years, and I have definitely experienced when I've gone to visit some of our friends and partners of Seeds. Is it's a wild thing getting closer to the communities in terms of like being in their homes and being like in like eating the food and dancing the dances and sitting together over tea. It's like I don't want to minimize the pain. You do get closer to the pain and you fall in love with the people. But what also happens is this wild experience of also seeing the other side, seeing the joy and seeing the flourishing of the community, of what is happening, right? And the
resilience too. I mean, resilience is an amazing thing.
Yes. And so it becomes not a pity, like sorrowful thing. It becomes this like, I for sure it's like, my gosh, if they can do what they do, I can do this thing, surely I can, keep walking and keep jumping those fences, those picket fences or other obstacles. And that sense of like, that's when it becomes about exchange. And that's when it becomes about just mutual love and respect and appreciation of like, dang, you are amazing.
On the flip side, for these wonderful people who so graciously invite us into their homes and into their offices and into their schools, the fact that we're there and we care and are there to listen for them, is a hopeful feeling too. So that exchange flows in both ways. And what it does is it just that bringing that collective together,
right?
Everybody feels one. We feel you just feel like you're part of this global family. As like sort of cheesy as that sounds, it is what happens in these rooms. You feel like, okay, wow, we aren't different. The world is small and this matters, and I can be a part of this. And that woman with 3 children who's in a house that's a hut, and she's cooking over an open fire, and you realize that's no different from me, no different at all. And it's just amazing how it wipes away all of our barriers and all of our fences. They really do come tearing down when you're sitting together.
Yeah. And so that is the work for sure, as a community, of how to, see the gaps and see the divides, and then find ways to connect, and whether it's tearing the barriers down or just allowing them to fall down when we shift just one little thing in our thinking, so for Lydia and I, we wanted to invite y'all who are listening live and who will be listening to the replay, to really take a moment and listen to what is capturing your attention in this conversation. Is it around, like, do you know what your passion is? Do you know what it is that you want to do more of? If you do, please comment below, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, and I will loop in with you. And if you want to connect with Lydia, I'll connect you with her too. But there is something that happens when we hold both the inspiration and the passion and do something about it. So, like, I think the doing, it's like it works the seed into the soil, or it makes it feel more real. So our nudges is to, like, whatever is inspiring you, please find one way, having a conversation with someone, sharing this video with 10 people that you think would be inspired and enjoy it, commenting about what's capturing your attention. If you're spinning all by yourself, don't spin alone. Like, loop in with me, private message me, comment below. And I have the link to Lydia's book. I mean, it is a way to both be inspired and also to be nudged to act in a powerful, powerful way. I have that link. If you're able and want to take a trip next year with a friend, or by yourself, or with, a spouse, go on one of the GoFill trips. They are extraordinary. If you want to give and loop in with Go Philanthropic, and whether it's $20 or $20,000, they are a community that believes in radical everyday philanthropy. And so please, like, however, you'll know in your heart what your act is. And we celebrate and are championing you in that. And I guess I want to, in closing, loop back to one thing that I love that you said, one of the many, Lydia, that you said about how, when it's fueled by the good juju of community and of passion and of purpose, the action, it's not hard.
We don't need to figure that part out.
Right?
That part figures itself out.
Right. Yeah. There's this, and it's not necessarily easy because there's still work to be done. It's not a passive thing, but it's like, it's not a forced thing. There's not a hustle. So the blessing is that we each find that ease and joy and inspiration in whatever the work of our hands and our hearts are. And Lydia, you do that tenfold, hundredfold, infinitely. And I'm proud of you. I'm inspired by you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me today. And I just have to say one more massive, massive shout out for your community who acted when you opened the door for your fundraising campaign, and a huge, huge thanks. We'll look forward to showing the impact of how it has affected the lives of others. That's real, and just a real example of what it means to come together around common goals. So, thanks to you and for making this happen, and for the opportunity to share the work of others here today. This is what it's all about. It is. So I thank you, love you, and to all the people watching live and in the future, blessings and so much love to you guys. And please, let's continue the conversation, because we have more to talk about, more to do, more to be together. So, so much love, and until next time. Okay. Bye. Bye.